All right, let's dive right into this explainer and completely demystify the core components of a computer system. Today, we're going from silicon to interface, exploring exactly how the physical nuts and bolts combine with digital instructions to create the applications we rely on every single day.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the complete computer system, check out the hardware, do a component deep dive, look at the software, and wrap it all up with a final knowledge check.
All right, Section 1. The complete computer system. At its core, a computer system is just a functional unit made up of hardware and software working together. It's really the perfect marriage of two totally distinct elements. Honestly, you simply can't have one without the other to get anything meaningful done.
Think of it kind of like a human being. On one side, you've got hardware. Those are the physical, tangible components, like our muscles, bones, and nerves. On the flip side, software is the set of instructions. It's basically our mind and our thoughts. One gives us the physical structure and capability, while the other gives us purpose and direction.
Moving on to Section 2. Hardware, the physical machine. So, our physical machine really relies on three essential components. First up is the processor, or CPU. That's the brain, literally executing instructions at lightning speeds measured in gigahertz. Second, we have computer memory, which is your temporary storage space for immediate use. And finally, storage devices for long-term saving. That's what keeps your programs and files safe and sound when you aren't actively using them.
Time for a quick byte booster fact. You know, none of these physical organs can actually communicate without the motherboard. The motherboard is the main printed circuit board, or PCB. It acts as the vital backbone tying all these components together in one single spot. It's literally what allows the CPU, the memory, and the storage to talk to each other. Basically, it's the central nervous system of our physical machine.
And hey, here's another fascinating byte booster, this time about those long-term storage devices. You've got two primary types, and you usually have to pick between them. Hard drives, or HDDs, are the traditional choice. They're a bit slower, but they hold a massive amount of data. Then you have solid-state drives, or SSDs, the modern alternative. They use flash memory instead of spinning disks, making them incredibly fast, which is awesome, because let's be real, nobody likes waiting around for a spinning disk to wake up.
Okay, Section 3. Component deep dive. When you look closely, components generally fall into specific input, output, or internal categories. Your monitor, speakers, and printer, those are purely output devices. They display images, pump out audio, or print physical documents for us. On the flip side, the keyboard and mouse are input devices, used for typing data or navigating around your screen. And then you have all those internal components making the real magic happen behind the scenes. The graphics card specifically handles rendering your images. The power supply unit, or PSU, pumps crucial electrical power to the whole shebang. And RAM, well, that provides the temporary storage space for the CPU. So every single piece has a very specific device type and function.
All right, on to Section 4. Software, the digital mind.
Now, software represents all the programs, applications, and data running on a system. Without it, let's face it, your hardware is essentially just a very expensive brick. Software is exactly what gives that hardware its purpose.
Software actually breaks down into two main categories. First is system software, which manages the hardware itself and provides a foundational platform for everything else to run. Think of it like your subconscious, autonomic nervous system just quietly keeping you breathing. Second is application software. These are the programs that perform specific tasks for you, like Microsoft Word for typing, Adobe Photoshop for image editing, or all your video games. Application software represents our conscious, intentional actions.
Here's another quick byte booster. Under that big umbrella of system software, you have these programs called utilities. Utilities are basically the essential housekeeping programs, working quietly behind the scenes. They handle vital system maintenance tasks, stuff like disk cleanup or virus scanning, just to make sure your machine stays healthy and secure.
And of course, the absolute most famous and important type of system software is the operating system. The OS provides the fundamental platform, whether you're typing away on a desktop, a laptop, or scrolling on a mobile phone. We're talking Windows, macOS, Linux, Android, and iOS.
And finally, Section 5, the final knowledge check. All right, question 1. Do you remember the name of the backbone that ties everything together? Is it the hard drive, the power supply unit, or something else entirely? If you said the motherboard, you nailed it. It's the central hub of our machine that connects every single component at one spot and lets them talk to each other.
Okay, next question. Think back to our hardware components deep dive. What exactly does RAM do? Does it store long-term data, or maybe it manages the power supply? If you guessed temporary storage, you are completely correct. RAM is our short-term memory. It only holds data while the CPU brain is actively working on it. So yeah, it provides temporary storage for data that the CPU is currently processing.
Let's test that component knowledge one more time. We've got a keyboard, mouse, printer, and a scanner. Which one of these is not an input device? Which one just doesn't belong?
The printer is the odd one out. The printer is an output device for sure. It produces a physical copy of a document or image, taking that digital information from the computer and bringing it right out into the real physical world.
Excellent job. Now I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought straight from the ultimate challenge in our source materials. Imagine your school just got a brand new computer lab, and you're the one tasked with explaining the system to your classmates. If you had to explain this entire setup right now, which two hardware components and which one software category would you choose to prove that the physical anatomy and the digital mind of a computer are truly fundamentally inseparable? How would you explain their importance? Really keep that question in mind the next time you fire up your screen. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope it gave you a clear, focused understanding of the machines we rely on every single day.